Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me today in this podcast on my favorite subject, understanding Ayurveda and how it works. I'm not going to teach Ayurveda from the fundamentals, starting with the formation of the universe, or this would become a month-long course. But I want to speak today about helping people understand how Ayurveda works, particularly in regard to uh, using food and herbs and some degree home remedies as remedies and treatments. So still people, look to Ayurveda for certain treatments that are untreatable many other ways, like ulcerative colitis, many type of autoimmune conditions, etc., are very tricky. And but Ayurveda has a sophistication to treat these conditions with their herbal remedies and more sophisticated understanding of food. Because I think the first point I want to make is that the food and the herbs all have actions. Ayurveda is thinking in terms of actions that are the food is taking, that food is making, well, the gunas. And there's only so many of these actions, but we can think in very similar or karma, the action of the herb. But we could think in basic sense of just cold, cooling. Some herbs, some food are cooling. Some foods are heating. Some foods are heavy. Some foods and herbs are light, because the difference between herbs and food is, herbs are medicine and food is, weaker medicine, but tastes good. But it's very similar approach. The view of how to use it remains the same. And this understanding the actions, some herbs are like breaking up tissue. Some herbs are astringent and making tissue tighten. Some herbs are building and making tissue grow. Some herbs are, we could say, detoxing or depleting and making tissue less. Some herbs are making your blood thick. Some herbs are making your blood thin. Same with the food. See, there's really the application of Ayurveda is the same with herbs or food. The only difference is the herbs are much more powerful. So when we say in Ayurveda, let food be thy medicine, they're really also referring to herbs, because even in Ayurveda, we say certain herbs are food for the nerves, food for the muscle, food for the mind. So, these all herbs, not only do they have different actions, hot, cold, dry, moist, heavy, light, rough, smooth, etc., but they also have certain affinity to certain organs and tissue in the body, because it's all we're treating is organs and tissue in the body. We're not treating disease, we're treating organs and systems in the body that are somewhat malfunctioning. And once you understand the proper function of these systems and organs, then you can diagnose what its misfunction is, or what's out of imbalance, what's not working properly. I would say closer to how a car mechanic looks at a car. He's looking at the transmission, the engine, the brakes, and all by component, and looking for problems. And by signs and symptoms, he knows which car parts need to be addressed. And same with a natural doctor, we're looking at organs. We're not saying let's treat, a certain disease like diabetes or even high blood pressure. We're treating cardiovascular system. We're treating the pancreas. We're treating the liver. We're treating the circulation. We're treating the blood. We're treating the mind. We're treating the bones. We're treating the muscles. We're treating the joints. First you have to let go of the medical terms of many diseases. And in fact, I've treated successfully many diseases I've never heard of, only by having the patient describe to me what the symptoms were. So the name of the disease didn't mean anything, but when they told me it was burning, hot, painful, sharp pain in the bottom of their heels, I didn't need to know its medical term. Just the term burning told me a lot. Pain told me a lot. The part in the body told me a lot. And it was in the muscles, not in the joints. So I know where it is and I know what's happening. And by these symptoms, I'm able to diagnose the condition without knowing its medical term. And excuse me. And in Ayurveda, of course, every condition is initially diagnosed by its balance of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I think most of you know that your body has a certain dominant prakriti or body type. Either you're mostly Vata or mostly Pitta or mostly Kapha, or you're Vata Pitta or Kapha Pitta or Kapha Vata. You hopefully at this point you know that, and that's the basis to know your own make and model, so to speak. And then that will give you an idea of your body's strengths and weaknesses, even which organs will be stronger and weaker, what you can digest and what you can't digest will all be understood just by your dominant prakriti and then your vikriti, your imbalances, your health issues. But in fact, when we're treating health issues, where each health issue has underlining dosha or doshas that are involved in different sutras, systems, different tissue, datsus are involved. For example, high blood pressure. Well, you cannot just say there's one kind of high blood pressure, because if it's a Vata dominant high blood pressure that's coming from Vata, from nervousness, thinking, anxiety, overactivity, the heart's racing fast, it's Vata. So the herbs to treat it are based on the fact that type of high blood pressure is Vata. Now, Kapha type of high blood pressure would be more blockages, cardiovascular blockages, probably leading to some chest pain, excess body weight, high cholesterol, and heaviness, slowness, and slow pulse. But blood pressure is high and not going up and down, but staying high due to maybe cardiovascular blockage, which are all the qualities of Kapha: heavy, dense, sluggish, these are the qualities of Kapha. So we could look at that person and say, oh, this is a type of Kapha high blood pressure. There's a completely different herbs than the person who has this Vata type, or, nervous, anxious, or maybe it's just coming from Vata, or in their head. Manovayu Sutra is your head is seen as its own system. Even in your head, that your Manovayu Sutra, your head system, it's called in Ayurveda. If it's too Vata, it's too fast and overthinking. If it's too Pitta, it's red and hot and irritable and aggressive. And it's too Kapha, it's dull and heavy and slow and sluggish. So even the mind is seen like a system that can be affected by an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So just to help you better understand Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and again, I'm not trying to teach Ayurveda, I'm just trying to help you understand how Ayurveda is approaching you and treating you and your health condition, not by the name of the disease, but by the underlying causes. And the deepest underlying cause of all conditions is the imbalance of these three energetics, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Just like for gardening. When I garden, we have the soil and the water. That's the Kapha, the nourishment. And then we have the sun. That's clearly the Pitta. And then the space and the carbon monoxide, which the plant needs, and just the space to grow. That's all the Vata. So the balance of these three still has to be right. If you overwater your plants, it's too much Kapha. They all become limp and sluggish and just like Kapha. And if they don't get enough water, they can just dry up and burn And if they don't get enough sun, then they become long and skinny and don't grow full. So, this, how much sun a plant gets is important. How much water it gets is important. How much, air or space it needs is important. That's the Vata Pitta Kapha. It's the same for the human body and the same for every health issue. And every health issue you have can be seen in terms of Vata imbalance, Pitta imbalance, or Kapha imbalance, or sometimes all three are imbalanced. Say for a cancerous tumor, all three doshas would be in balance for that particular condition. But if it wasn't malignant, then it would just be Kapha and Vata. So conditions can be complicated. You could be a Kapha Prakriti person, a body type, your original body type, and you could have Pitta in the head, you could have Vata in the colon, and you could have some other condition that was Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. You could have multiple conditions and with different imbalances in different parts of your body. So that's helping you understand how Ayurveda is diagnosing your health problem. It's this imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha in different systems and organs in your body. And then using food and herbs to bring balance, to do the opposite. If something's blocked, then we're using herbs that are warming and heating and penetrating and stimulating to undo the blockages. I gave a story the other day about a patient who bought some of my brain herbs on my website, our sponsor, herbmanteas.com. And then she did an appointment and said, well, the brain herbs didn't work too much. I still feel foggy mind and I don't feel good. And it didn't help drinking this brain tea. I go, I know that brain tea is wonderful. But by doing a diagnosis of her, I could see her hands and feet were cold. She had poor circulation. She'd even already had high blood pressure. She had chest pain and there was blockage in her arteries. Her blood was thick with high cholesterol. She was constipated, not even having bowel movements every day, plus this brain fog. But I told her, you don't have multiple conditions. You only have one condition, and that is you're congested. Oh, yeah, respiratory congestion. She has respiratory congestion, which really can affect your thinking and your mind when you're not getting enough oxygen. So she had respiratory congestion, colon congestion, constipation, circulatory and lymphatic congestion. And so since she had already bought the brain tea, and I didn't think that was critical, the cause behind her poor memory was the congestion. So I gave her herbs for the lymph. I gave her herbs for the circulation. I gave her herbs for the respiratory, gave her herbs for the cardiovascular system, changed the diet to, be more clearing and circulatory with certain herbs and even foods like onions, garlic, black pepper, ginger to warm the body, help the circulation. And of course, the herbs are 10 times more powerful than the food. So I've got the food plus the herbs working together to achieve these actions, which I'm trying to achieve. So in my mind, I'm trying to just achieve actions. I'm not treating her respiratory system. I'm clearing her nasal passages. I'm breaking up blockages in the arteries and improving overall circulation and thinning blood. These are all become the objectives that I'm trying to achieve, and get the lymph moving, and of course, drop some weight. So I've got this nice list of things that I want to achieve, and then I use food and herbs to achieve all these things. That's why after you do the appointment, you have 6, 7, 8 products, because you have 6, 7 different issues that I've broken down and used different products to address. But in this particular person's case, when she came back and did the follow-up a month later, I said, well, how you doing? How's circulation? She goes, oh, yeah, I'm warm now. No more cold feet. How's the breathing? Oh, no more mucus, no more phlegm. When she got rid of things like yogurt and cold drinks and things. And then, oh, how's the blood pressure? Oh, much better now that I'm not having any of this meat or animal protein or heavy foods and doing more beans. And how you losing weight? Oh, yeah, I lost 7 pounds. oh, and by the way, how's the memory? And she goes, the memory completely improved without even taking the tea. See? So you can see in this story how the patient wants something like for fixing my memory, but doesn't see the underlying cause that's taking place. But in Ayurveda, we saw this as congestion and kapha. So we treated the kapha and reduced the kapha and put her on a kapha pacifying diet, use foods that would increase the pitta, the heat and the fire, the transformation and metabolism, and then increase the vata, stimulating the circulation, the heart, the thinking, the mind is a little vata increasing, and bring down the kapha. And then the whole body started working and she had energy and her mind was going again, her blood was flowing again, and her blood pressure all dropped. Because Ayurveda can see the person holistically and then also can break it down by different systems in the body. And that's why Ayurveda doctors give you a lot of different remedies, because they're looking at, they see all of these imbalances that you or the patient doesn't yet see as a disease. But in Ayurveda, there's pathologies. Everything's got a path. And we study the stages of every disease, we could say, and its stages on the path. So we can see things in the early stages that don't mean much to the client. They're not too worried about that. But in Ayurveda, we know that that's progressing on a pathology, and it's an imbalance that's affecting the whole. So Ayurveda has to be, as any good healthcare system, has to be holistic. You can't just take one herb or one tea or one formula for your health issue. You have to look holistically at the whole body and all the different systems in the body, and treat them. Some, like I said, may need a decreasing kapha. Other ones may need increasing in kapha. So that case that I gave there, that person had a lot of congestion. But if a person, say, high vata and their hair's falling out and they have degenerative bones, it's going to be a building treatment. So what are my goals? Build, not detox, build, grow more hair, build more muscle, build more bones. The person's weak. So detoxing, fasting, skipping meals becomes the opposite direction. See, in Ayurveda, once you can diagnose the imbalance, that's the secret. The treatments are the easy part. It's the diagnosis. Even for those who've done appointments with me, I'll spend more time diagnosing. Once I've done with my diagnosing, it's just a matter of explaining the treatment. But I have to be able to understand what, if you're urinating 10 times at night, is that due to high vata, high pitta, or high kapha? Is it, an infection? Is it bacteria? Is it kidney stones? Those are just the medical way to look at it. But I'm only concerned, and Ayurveda is only concerned about the function, how it's supposed to be functioning. And you're not supposed to be urinating at night 2 or 3 times, not alone 5 or 6. So the question is, what dosha is behind that? Now, of course, there's Ayurveda is more sophisticated, and we have, datsu, tissue imbalances, and mala. There's also toxins is the main cause of all of, disease ultimately requires toxins. And of course, there can be toxins in different parts of the body, even toxins in the mind. Of course, we know toxins in the liver, toxins in the colon. So this could be another part of the list that I make to treat a patient. 1, okay, remove toxins in colon. 2, remove toxins in liver. Remove even negative thinking, my teacher told me, is toxins in the mind. So the herbs are not only helping memory, they're cleaning the blood, cleaning the mind, so to speak, and making it more clear and calm. And that's what these herbs are meant to do. Herbalist doesn't look at the nutritional value of the herbs. or we don't care that they're high in antioxidants or high in vitamin C. And we don't look at food in terms of nutrition. Oh, eat this because it's got a lot of potassium. Have all your basil nuts because they have a lot high selenium. Ayurveda doesn't think like that. They think in terms of, as I said earlier, the action of the food. What does it do? So if you're overweight, we tell you don't eat heavy foods. That's what so once you understand, oh, I can't eat heavy foods because I'm a heavy person, then you can look at anything and think, oh, that's heavy. That pizza with cheese, that's heavy. You don't have to go look on a list once you get it. And if you're thin or say you're cold, then Ayurveda doctor will tell you never eat anything cold, never. And you're like, that's funny. But if you start eating all warm food, you notice you're feeling better, you have more energy, your circulation's better, and even keeping your respiratory system more clear by not having cold, kapha increasing foods that will congest you and dampen your circulation and the function of many of your systems. Just cold will hurt your digestion system a lot. But on the other hand, you could be a person who's always hot, and maybe a woman having hot flashes and hot temper, and an Ayurveda doctor will tell her, okay, just have coconut water and no hot spices and nothing. Even then, even though hot flashes are a hormonal issue, by reducing the heat down, they are better right there. It's amazing. And same, heat and burning sensations sometimes in the body can just indicate not only inflammation, it could also indicate infection. But the herbs that bring down the body, the heat in the body are fighting infection. So it's very funny. It all lines up. I wouldn't say funny is the right word. It's all very scientific, actually. It's a very scientific system, as you can see from the charts behind me. Ayurveda is a very advanced system, starting with all the 5 elements and building on the doshas, and then the sub-doshas, and then all the 13 systems in the body, the 7 tissues in the body. And that's the way Ayurveda treats, not based on the Western method. We don't even look at Ayurveda anatomy the same way. I mean, you can study anatomy down to the cells, but Ayurveda is concerned with how it's supposed to work, the function of your colon, the function of your liver, the function of your teeth. Everything has got a function. Everything is working, and there's a proper way for it to work. And you should never accept a not functioning part of your body. Don't accept joint pain. Don't accept forgetfulness. Don't accept urinating at night. Don't accept constipation, because these are all signs that organ's not functioning. So once you've identified it, then look, is this Vata or Pitta that I'm having is affecting this? And say you're getting dry, hard stools, then dry, hard, that's Vata, simple. So you may be doing things every day to make your stools drier and harder because you're eating something. Maybe you're having those granola because it's got certain nuts in it with a certain omega-3s, and those are constipating you or something. So this is where we kind of get confused, where we start eating things based on nutrition, and we don't know what that food is going to do to us. And this gets a lot of people in trouble. But Ayurveda, they understand it. In fact, once you understand the concept, even I've never seen a food before, I can look at it and taste it. Is it sweet? Is it sour? Is it bitter? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it dry? Is it moist? And I can tell you, okay, this is good for Vata. This is not good for Kapha. This is okay for Pitta. Just even if I don't know the food. Same for a disease. Even if I never heard of this disease before, if I can examine it and see is it dry, is it oily, is it hot, is it burning, is it got sharp pain, dull pain, even the type of pain. That's how we diagnose a headache. Is the pain sharp like a knife, or dull like a rock, or coming and going like Vata? So you can already hear the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, different types of headache. And then, of course, if you go to Herb Mantees, our sponsor, you can see there's different headache formulas, one for Vata, one for Pitta, one for Kapha. You go to remedies, you can see there's colon herbs for Vata, colon herbs for Pitta, colon herbs for, Kapha. And so you have to have that knowledge, even if you're going to choose the products on my website, because you can see that products are all based on this Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And you could, like I said, you could be a Kapha person and have Vata and need a Vata colon formula. You see, so you could be, or you may need a Pitta formula for your head, but you are a Vata, or you are a Kapha. So you have to see the disease as its imbalance, and of course, you have to understand Vata, Pitta, Kapha and these energetics, and then look at each disease that way. And you can even then look at your not only your disease, you can look at your food, but you can also look at your room and your environment. So a lot of people, they get very dry skin. And I say, don't go in cold, dry rooms like the air conditioner they're working in all day is too Vata. If you're in an office and things are moving fast and it's cold and dry and there's wind, that's all Vata. So that's going to create more anxiety than a warm, cozy, quiet place. It's going to be more calming to your mind. So where you are, where you sleep, what food you eat, the weather, whether it's hot or cold, all are affecting the doshas. And you are all just like the plant. You're all affected as well by the weather, by the wind, by the hot, by the cold. And Ayurveda understands that. And that's why it's a very sophisticated science, the ancient science of health. Well, I hope it helped you understand why you got to keep taking those herbs sometimes, why you have to take certain herbs more in the summer than in the winter, why you're taking the herbs, not just to get rid of some disease and then stop, but to keep a certain, imbalance from continuing, to stop, to help a certain organ or system in the body that's been struggling for you. You may have to keep taking the herbs to keep that system or organ functioning well and not have any more problems. Just like you would add a fuel additive to your gas or an oil additive to your oil to help out your engine. Herbs are like these little additives. And if you've got an old car, as I do, you got to add a lot of additives, brake fluid additives, fuel additives, oil additives, because the car's old and we're the same. So the herbs are like additives, keeping systems going in our body, not like medicine, just waiting until you get some life-threatening condition and then take it, just for that period of time. Sometimes people have to just keep taking these herbs in small amounts and definitely follow the diet to avoid a relapse of the condition, because it just could be your weakness in your body, your condition. So think of herbs as helpers, to achieve certain objectives or help certain organs and systems in your body work better. Not like medicine that's, pharmaceutical medication that comes with its side effects. Not to say it doesn't have value and not to say that it's not life-saving, but it's important to see pharmaceutical medicine for what it is. And our point today is to understand the value and how Ayurvedic medicine is working to help your body, to help the systems and organs that have the doshic imbalance or toxins to function better. So it's addressing ultimately the underlying cause of your condition. So I hope that helped you understand better. I know it's a big subject. And again, I was speaking kind of roundabout just to help you to understand. But I encourage everybody to study a little Ayurveda, and particularly to understand your own prakriti or body type, Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. God bless you all. Thank you very much.